Today we're going to look at 8 comments that I pulled from YouTube videos. I think all of these came from one YouTube video. I don't remember. I prepared this a while ago and it's just been sitting on my desktop, so it's time to get rid of it. This is what women say about marrying and having children, young and old. These are comments you will see on videos. I'm pretty sure I got this off a Jordan Peterson video about marriage and career, but I don't really recall. But any video like that, what you're going to see amongst the comments is you're going to see ladies who come and tell their story. And so I just want to give more visibility to that, because what you're going to find, not surprisingly, is that I've pulled out quotes that support the things that I say. And so I'm not presenting this in terms of any kind of statistical analysis or to say that this is even the majority case, although I believe it is, but rather just to show you that there are real people out there who are ladies who are saying these things too. And the reason I bring it to your attention is because I think that these voices are not necessarily heard, because like I said, they're just random comments on YouTube channel videos. And that's not exactly where young ladies are going to get their advice. And so if anything, I would love if, as a result of this video, more women looked for the advice that they could receive from other ladies, and realizing that there isn't any ready-made source for that, meaning it's not going to be in your peer group, it's not going to be on TikTok. You're going to have to go out and look for it on YouTube videos made by intelligent people and watched by intelligent people, wise people. The truth, it's out there. So let's look at these quotes. First one, she says, I had my first child at 21 and having my second child at 31 after health issues and a miscarriage. I can really feel the difference. So the idea here that this supports is that it's easier to have kids early than it is to have kids late. And yes, early 30s is late to have kids for a woman. It's called a geriatric pregnancy by the OBGYNs for a reason. This lady says, I had a baby at 20 and 22. I wouldn't change that for the world. I was exactly the right age. Here's one. Having a baby in your 20s and having a baby in your 30s are like night and day when it comes to difficulty. I had 2 children in my early to mid 20s, and when my youngest went to kindergarten, I wanted another and my husband agreed. So we actually had 2 more children in my 30s, but the pregnancies were much harder on my body, and I had trouble delivering, and I hemorrhaged with the last baby. I had absolutely no trouble with my first 2. There is something to be said for not waiting to have children. This lady's spelling is atrocious. The woman's body is designed to carry children while young. Having children is the most meaningful thing you can do with your life, and it's your legacy. Don't let meaningless things get in the way of that. There you go. So some strong wisdom, even from someone who doesn't like to capitalize and has poor spelling and grammar. But she's right. Okay? You're going to hear this from many, many ladies. Having children is the most meaningful thing you can do with your life. And if you wait, it's going to be way harder. And as we're about to see in some of these, if you get the chance at all. A woman's body is designed to carry children while young, she says. Had my child at 28. I am so tired and worn out, I can't imagine the energy-wise chasing around a toddler in my 40s. However, I do support women's choices. Just got to give that little sacramental prayer to not get attacked by everyone. It's just so tiring already for me, even having child at prime. So, obviously some of these were typed on a phone. But yeah, 28, that's considered young these days, right? I mean, if you ask your average person, oh, 28, you're still young. live your life, go have your fun. But she says, hey, I am so tired and worn out, I can't imagine being able to do this in my 40s. Yeah, and she doesn't even know what it's like to be in her 40s yet. She just knows it's going to be harder. So, here's another one. Most women I've known either ditched their career to be a stay-at-home mom or wish they could. That is also my experience. As I've said before, most women I've known would prefer to stay home with their children. And they can't. And they resent that. She continues, we were made to nurture children and to be a helpmeet to our husbands. Of course, some women may remain in careers by choice during the child rearing years, but our kids, I don't know what this means. Love, I was a teacher. Everything changed when my first was born. So she says her kids, as far as her kids, she's staying home with them. She was a teacher, and she says everything changed when my first was born. And ladies, that's what happens. The second your first kid comes out, everything you thought gave you meaning in life gets squished down to nothing in comparison to that kid. Does that happen every single time? No. Does it happen almost every time? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You know, that's what the most likely outcome is. And like this lady, a lot of ladies will tell you that most women they know, when they have their children, they would prefer to not work outside the home. They'd prefer to stay home with the kids. Here's another one. I was sold the lie that education and your job is most important, so you have something to fall back on and not become too dependent on a man. If I could do it over, I would. My advice to my younger self, focus on relationships. Find what makes you happy. If you find a good partner, everything will work out. And it's true. If you find a good partner, everything you want in life, you'll get so much more of it out of that man than you will in any other way. This one's kind of long, but there's some good detail in here. At age 20, I got pregnant after missing a day or two of my birth control. It was easy and quite a shock. Besides having excessive vomiting, probably due to being unable to afford food and starving frequently while pregnant, I had the easiest pregnancy. Physically, it was a peach. I felt great. I was taking 3-mile walks every day up until the day I gave birth. I had another baby at 28. I took out my IUD and I was pregnant immediately, so she was still highly fertile. It was a little more painful as I gained more weight than I wanted and pushing took forever. At 31, I wanted another baby. It took nearly 16 months to get pregnant. I had baby number 3, and by the time I was in my second trimester, I was in so much pain every day. She was small, so labor was easy, but I tell you, every day leading up to it, I hurt. Age is not talked about enough. I completely believe women can really only have easy, healthiest pregnancies in their late teens and 20s. After 30, it gets so difficult and painful. I question infertility being a disease, rather the body is no longer in its prime to have and carry a baby. I have 3 beautiful children. I know a lot of people who are not so lucky and are now probably too old to be able to successfully have a baby without artificial assistance. There are a lot of fertility clinics popping up, and I see them as pure scams. Doctors aren't being honest and instead push random pills, supplements, and diets. Suck the want-to-be parents dry instead of being honest. And that's true. Once people get into that situation, they will pay anything they can, it seems, to do anything they can to try to have a kid. And those attempts are very frequently unsuccessful, even though they cost a fortune. They cost a fortune, and there's some questionable ethics in some of the techniques, but they aren't effective much of the time. And so there are alternatives, and the main one is to have kids early. So there are many people, many ladies in situations where there are fertility challenges. And the thing is if you were ever on the pill, or if you're past 22, well, I should say 24. 24 is on average when a woman's estrogen peaks. Her fertility declines thereafter on average. So if you're after that age, or you've ever been on the pill, or hormonal birth control, I should say more generally, there is a non-zero chance that your choices have led to your fertility problems. And so that's not fun to have to deal with psychologically. But here you go. So we've seen all these examples, and there are many, many, many others. You can look for yourself. If you want advice from someone on something, look for people who have experienced both sides of the issue. And if you want to know whether it's easier to have children young or old, find ladies who have done both. If you want to hear testimonials on whether it's worth it to have kids, talk to ladies who have kids, because only they know what it's like to not have a kid and to have a kid or multiple children. Don't lean on the advice of people who've never experienced the things that you are interested in knowing about. So all that being said, here's a question for you. If these testimonials are so commonplace, they're easy to find online, they're all over the place, why are they so rare? So you can find them if you look for them, but why are they so rare? Why aren't ladies coming out of the woodwork and, for example, shutting down women who say, oh, don't have kids, you'll regret it, or you better wait till your 30s to have kids or you'll regret it? Why isn't there a choir of women saying, that does not reflect my experience, and I think you're hurting people by telling them this? Well, this is why. Right here. Here's an example. Here's a lady who's sharing her experience. She said she got married very young, at 16, which is obviously very unusual. But she says she got married at 16 and she's 29 and she has 4 kids. She says, nothing means more to me than my husband and children. There's no regret there. She's happy. And out of the woodwork comes this lady who says, so you were groomed as a child? And there's 5 thumbs up on that. This is a really atrocious thing that ladies do to one another. Is when a woman stands up and says what she really thinks, there's a chorus of other ladies that come and tear her down because what she says makes them feel guilty, or maybe they feel better when they tear other people down. But this is why this whole believe women thing is a total lie. The people who chant that mantra, there's a ... at the end of it, and followed by when they say what we want them to. When they toe the line. But when they say what they actually think and feel, and it disagrees with what we want them to say, we will tear them apart. And that's wrong. So, ladies, I encourage you, if you're an older lady and you've got some experience in this department or anything else, just in general, women, stand up for what you really think, what you really believe. Stand up and tell people what you think, especially younger ladies. Share what you really think with girls and young women and help them see past this cloud of lies that's out there, telling women that they can have it all, they don't have to make priority decisions in life because they can do everything. No, you can't. No, you can't. And a lot of ladies only find that out too late. So, and apparently then they spend the rest of their days going around the internet tearing down those who say otherwise. So there you have it. That's the end of this video. Again, I encourage you to get out there and see what people are saying and realize that this isn't just the voice of one crazy man out in the wilderness. There are plenty of people who say these things, and a whole lot of them are female.